Welcome to Tantrum Studio D. I'm Kevin Delp.
And I'm Melissa Delp.
Today we're looking at Wendake from Renegade Game Studios. Wendake is a 1 to 4 player action selection worker placement game with a little bit of area influence and plays in about 1 to 2 hours. It's published by Renegade Game Studios.
Players will explore the tradition and everyday life of tribes in the Great Lakes region during the 1700s. You'll have to manage aspects of their lives and earn points on different tracks: the military, economic, ritual, and mask ceremonial tracks. Whoever earns the most points wins.
Let's look at the components. There are game boards, player boards, scoring tracks, tiles, cards, tokens, resources, and meeples.
Wendake is played over 7 rounds, and each round has 2 phases: the player turn phase and then the restore phase. Players have 4 action markers. During the player turn phase, you'll take 1 action at a time in turn order. One of those actions will be choosing turn order for the next round. The other 3 will be on your action board. You can start with any action you want, but the actions you take must form a line: horizontal, vertical, or diagonal.
During the restore phase, you cycle your action tiles by flipping each tile you activated to the other side and then sliding all your tiles down so the bottom 3 come off your board. You then get to claim an advanced action tile to replace one of the 3 tiles you just moved off the board. You'll shuffle them and place the 3 tiles back into the top of your board so you're ready for the next round.
Most of the actions are going to help you score points on at least one of the 4 scoring tracks. You have to balance these points though, because at the end of the game, you only score the lower one of each pair. So it doesn't really help to be super ahead on this track if I'm low on this one.
So that was a bird's eye view of the round structure. Now we're going to delve in deep on all those actions.
The move action lets you move your warriors. They can stand guard in a territory, or you can place them in productive areas. If you do this, you can transfer the warriors back to your home territory and replace them with women and hunters in their respective areas.
It's important to get these hunters and women out because they give you resources. When you take the harvest action, you get a matching vegetable for each of your women on a productive area, and when you hunt, you get a beaver for each of your hunters. To turn beavers into pelts, you take the tanning action.
The canoe action lets you put a canoe on a lake, and then the fishing action gives you 1 fish for each of your canoes. Once you have resources, you can take the trade action and use them to buy a progress tile. The tile gives you immediate points on 2 score tracks, and a special ability you can use once per round. The abilities are things like reducing the cost of tiles, free resources, and extra moves.
The Sacred Fire action gives you more flexibility with your actions. You put your token on it to stay in line, but then you can take any other available action on your board. At the end of the round, the Sacred Fire tile flips, but not the other action you took.
The military action lets you move up 1 space on the military track for each territory where you have the most guards. You can also collect turtles based on the number of women, hunters, or canoes you've placed. These let you move up on certain tracks at the end of the game. They're kind of like secret points.
The Mask Ceremony action lets you draw a mask card and play a set of cards. You put your marker on the set you're playing and it stays there for the round, blocking other players. Then you move the designated number of spaces on the mask track. At the end of the round, you gain your mask cards back into your hand.
On the reverse side of each tile is the ritual symbol. This is an action you can take. First, you put 2 natives into your home territory, and then you count each type of native there. Whichever has the least amount, that's how many spaces you move up on the ritual track. So as you can see, there are a lot of actions you can take, but on each round you can only do 3 tiles, and they have to be in a line, so that does limit your choices a little bit. The cool thing though is as the rounds progress, you're getting those advanced tiles and they get better and better. They could have maybe 3 actions on each tile, so Planning out how you can take those actions and get them in the right order is going to really help you during the game.
And there's progress tiles too that you can activate each turn. Those can definitely help you. But be careful that you're not just focusing on one track. It's not how high you can go, but how balanced you can be. I think there was one game, Melissa, that you were exactly even on both pairs of tracks. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you. It did take a lot of planning, and I enjoyed that puzzling aspect of the game, figuring out which actions to take. You also have to take into account that when you use a tile, it's going to flip, so you might not get access to that tile again for a few rounds.
There's also special tribes that you can use for each player. They can give you like asymmetrical player powers or starting resources. The illustrations are okay. The graphic design is clear. And that's good because there is a lot going on and a lot to keep track of. I appreciate that the resources aren't just cubes. They have different shapes, like fish, corn, beans, and more.
We've played this game at several player counts, even 2 players, and I felt like it scaled well because you use different boards based on the player count. Although the more players you add in, the longer the game is going to go.
And if a player is prone to analysis paralysis, it could go even longer.
Okay, but I think as the game went on, I got better at taking my turns a little faster. It was more pronounced in our 2-player game because Kevin takes his turn so quickly that it came back to my turn before I had time to really think through everything. When we played 4 players, I did feel like during the other players' turns, I could think through what I wanted to do, and I even had some time to react to what the other players did to me.
There are ways to remove other players' guards or even take over productive areas where other players have their hunters or their women, so you have to be okay with some player interaction.
Yeah, but I didn't feel like the game was overly mean. Overall, I really did enjoy playing this game.
So if you like games with action selection, game with this interesting scoring mechanic, or you're interested in learning more about the native people in the Great Lakes region, then check out Wendake from Renegade Game Studios.
I explore the tradition.
You explore.
Yes, players explore the tradition in everyday life.
Okay. And you, viewers, should go over there and subscribe to Tantrum House.